Hello everybody and welcome to ESRL. It is a Friday night, which means it's time for Division 1. We've got a full grid here in Qatar for the penultimate race of the season. I'm here with my good friend Sumo in the commentary box. How are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, not doing too bad. It's well, we were out in Monaco last time, were we not? Or was that a couple of weeks ago? I don't know. I can't remember. But we're here, Qatar, penultimate round, a second penultimate round for the evening. That's quite funny actually. All the tier one and then division one for ESRL are going to line up with ending over in APPF one and over here in ESRL, but. Nonetheless, another trip to the Middle East for me tonight. Well, for both of us tonight. We're here at Qatar. Fantastic circuit to drive, and even great for some racing action, I think, as well.
Yeah, I think so too. Esports drivers don't like it because they're so consistent at it that it's so hard to overtake. But here in the not perfect world, it's a lot more fun, and there's some great racing at this track. So I'm looking forward to this one. We've got names such as Lifebout in the lobby as well. Jordan Lance, Short Marcus is in today too. Yeah, I think it's going to be a very, very good race. With Luca Rapassa perhaps actually having to do some work to win the race for once.
Yeah, I mean, last time we saw Lifebout and Luca Rapassa share a racetrack was at Belgium, which was a fantastic race, all race long. Which saw Lifebout take the win over Luca there. I think he was actually in a Red Bull for that one. I'm pretty sure, but we're
Yeah.
watching Cialda make his way through the first sector of the racetrack, and I love this circuit. I'm looking forward to it. It's the final round of on the APPF1 calendar. I can't wait. But Cialda invalidates, which will be something that will happen quite often, I think, tonight.
Yeah, and Jax is invalidated just behind. A new name, Jax. Haven't seen him before. Not to be confused with Jack Alaco, of course. Who else has just started a lap? That's Tier, just coming across the line to start a lap. So here he comes into Sector 1, misses the apex of Turn 1 by a little bit, and is not using the track on the opening lap from Tier so far as he heads through Turn 2 and down towards Turn 4. This lovely couple of corners, this double right-hander. You can put on so much more throttle through there than you think you can. And then down towards this hairpin, which is probably one of the slowest corners on the track. It's so high speed, this track, all the way through. And then Tier into the next section. Very early on the throttle you've got to be at every corner, and Tier just taking it easy for now by the looks of things, just to get a lap out there because of course track limits are horrible around here. So easy to get track limits penalties as he comes through the final sector now. Flat out through the right-hander, flat out through that one. It should be flat out through that one, but Tier lifts. It's not quite flat out through this one unless you're very brave. Tier lifts for that one as well. And down towards the final corner comes the Alpine driver. It's looking okay. Lifebout a 20.3 to open up qualifying, but Tier comes across the line. It will be quite a bit slower, but how much slower? It's a 22.9 from Tier. Scott goes just behind him in P3 as well. We've got ET8 Chris on the circuit as well. So a lot of big names out there today. Johnny Stokes a 21.2.
Yeah, I was riding on board with Lifebout the whole way through. It looked like a very, very put together lap from the young Dutchman, who has been, just improving and improving and improving by the minute, it seems. But I suppose when you've got every waking moment to play the game, then you are going to improve as such. As Luca goes with a 20.4 in the McLaren.
Yeah, he's not far off there. Johnny Stokes P5 now after Red Flame Joe and Chris also beat him out. Aces up to P6, but there's a huge gulf in times between Johnny Stokes and everyone else there. So hopefully the grid will close up a bit as qualifying goes on. Of course, it's so easy to invalidate laps around this circuit. Finley has done exactly that. Scapro's currently on a lap, so Jackalacco is going to be next across the line.
Yeah, Jackalacco in the Alpha Tauri coming through sector 1. Let's see as he goes through here, and it's this is a section where it's really easy to get those track limits warnings through here. You've got to be really committed through here. I saw Lifebout take so much of the track through here, and that's the difference really between the best drivers and everybody else, I think, is that they're much more committed through turn. Well, it's very much Istanbul-like corner, isn't it? This section of right-handers as you go through flat all the way. Not as smooth as Lifebout was Jacko there. He was very more direct with his inputs on the steering wheel through the final corner, all the way down to 4th gear. I saw Lifebout take that one in 5th, but Jackalacco coming round down toward the line. It's a long way down toward the pit lane, and you typically see a lot of the drivers use all of their battery on a lap around here just because it's so much time spent on the throttle. And one thing they're going to have to watch out for, because I'm pretty certain they've still not sorted it, is that fuel will be a point of contention around here.
Yeah, you've got to put in a huge amount of fuel because the game expects you to brake for corners you don't have to brake for. Clemo coming across the line. It's P6. It's not a bad run from the Mercedes driver. And Reshko also going up to P7 just ahead of him. Good to see Clemo back on track. Haven't seen him around for a couple of weeks. Who's that? I think that's Womax on a lap right now, but he has invalidated.
Yeah, it's always nice to see drivers making a return to the racetrack. Their natural habitats, you could say, out there on the circuit. Who else is out on a lap right now? Womax is invalidated. F1 Jax in the Alfa Romeo's just started a lap out there. I think Jordan Lance is on an out lap. What happened there?
There's Jax with a huge slide out of turn 1, just about caught it, but cost him an awful lot of time. We've got Thiomp in the chat supporting Red Flame Joe. It's good to see support for Joe, my APPF1 teammate, and apparently he's about to cook for this race, Simo.
Well, he certainly didn't cook in the last race, did he? The
No.
fans, I was in the live chat, the fans were very, very critical of their... telling him all the places he was going wrong, telling him that they could go faster out there, and they were very much on it. And Red Flag Joe was quite the focus actually during that qualifying session, and then he ended up crashing anyway, which was disheartening for the Red Flame Joe fans out there today.
It was a big shame. I don't know why Joe has so many fans in the chat today.
I think it's all his mates from school, by the sounds of things.
Oh, okay, I see. Well, he's... you guys, you should watch on Sunday, because that's when he wins. He's currently leading the championship on APP Elite on Sundays, and should go on to win the title from here. So... you should watch him on Sundays instead. But, I'm sure he very much appreciates the support. There's a huge number of you in the chat supporting Red Flame Joe, which is great to see. Jordan Lancer, though, coming through the final corner. DRS open all the way down towards the line. What's it going to be for the Mercedes driver? It's a 20.7. It's not bad. It's second row.
Ghost, I think this might be quite a decent fight for pole position here. We've got 5 drivers in the 1 minute 20s. Jax is a bit of an outside shout here. Jordan Lancer and ET8 Chris, they could definitely go faster. What more do Luca and Lifebout have in the tank, I wonder, between them? Currently, Lifebout has the advantage. At the peak just then as well, Ghost, there were 18 people watching. All tuning in to cheer on Joe. That's probably the best reception you and I have both had on one of these streams, in all honesty. Let's keep it going.
100%.
Alex D in the chat, my tier 2 teammate, supporting us out there, here to support you and me, Ghost, or you and I think that's right. I and you, me and you, us.
If it's the end of a sentence, it's you and me.
I don't know. I don't care. We're not here for grammar, we're here for racing. And Lifebout's on a lap ghost. Let's see, he's coming up to the sector 1 line through the final couple of quarters of that first sector. Let's see, he's down by 5 thousandths. Oh, and that's not going to help him.
No, it's certainly not. One thing to note, by the way, Jax up to P5. On that lap, he had a massive slide through turn 1. So there's definitely a lot more in the tank for F1 Jax on his debut. So that's great to see. We'll see if he can live up to that potential. ET8 Chris in Sector 2 at the moment as well, in the Williams, as the support for Joe in the chat continues.
Yeah, Red Flame Joe's the GOAT. Red Flame Joe. Joe better not lose. Come on, Joe. They're all staying in the chat there. My cutie, apparently. Okay, now it's getting a bit weird, but ET8 Chris is 0.2 of a second up through Sector 2. I told you this fight for pole position could start to get spicy. Lifebound ET8 Chris has just come off the back of a race at Abu Dhabi, and they're cooking already. Let's see, round the final corner comes ET8 Chris. What is it going to be? In 5th gear, they're a lot more confident, those two Williams cars, in this track and in themselves around it. Let's see, all the way down to the line for the Williams car. It's P2, a front row lockout for Lifebound and ET8 Chris provisionally.
Very, very close together, those times. But Clemo also on a lap, lost Super Spy up to P9, the ever-improving driver. He's I've seen him improve an awful lot in the last few months, so long may it continue. But he's up to P9 at the moment. But yeah, Lifebound and Chris, P1 and 2 in ESRL does not bode well for everyone else's chances in APP next week.
No, it definitely doesn't. Although Finley might have a shout. He's currently not got a lap. Remember, there'll be no line for him this time. So, and it looks like Red Flame Joe's got a lot to lose in this race. Apparently, he owes about 4 people 50 quid if he loses. So he's going to be 200 quid out of pocket.
Oh gosh, a lot on the line for Red Flame Joe, as money is worth more than League Racing Championships, as Lifebout has a lovely slide coming into the pits. Who else is on a lap? Lost Super Spies in lap. I don't think anyone's on a lap right now, Sumo. Maybe Aces? In the house? No, he's not deploying ERS, so he's not on a lap either.
Red Bull on a lap? Lost Super Spy? No, he's not on a lap. I don't think there is anybody.
Yeah.
Boring. Come out. Scapro's about to start a lap, though. So.
Okay. Well, everyone's.
Joe, if you win, I'll give you a kiss.
I don't know if Joe. I think that actually lowers the stakes for Joe, don't you think? But Marcus says incomplete setup, no practice, no cares, here for fun, which is great to hear. Evening to you too, Marcus. But here comes Scaparo through the final corner. DRS open. He's currently sitting, well, I can't see where he's sitting because all the comments are covering my screen on the bottom left. But he's P18. He's a second off the rest of the pack, so he needs a big improvement, does the Argentinian.
Yeah, he didn't quite attack turn 1 as best he can, and he looks very tentative going around this track. I think he's very much not quite as confident out there going through. He's got these 2 right-handers to go through here, and yeah, it's not as well put together. You can use so much of the track around here. The curbs are practically level with the road in the majority of places around here. I don't think this is going to be the best of lap times at all. I think one thing that you need from this on this circuit is confidence, and and another thing, I suppose, to add to my one thing that I've said originally, is that you need confidence as and just the ability to just get into that flow state at this circuit as well. What is going on? The chat is absolutely exploding right now. Let's see.
We've got an important question from Alex G, which I think is what we should be focusing on. He says, pizza or burger?
Oh, blimey, that is a very important question, isn't it? Okay. I'll think about it. Let's see. I'm reading through all the other comments. Let's see. Red Flame Joe's name dropping his mates. Leon, Theo, Louis. Please be respectful. Oh, they're having a bit of fun out there. That's fine. Joe, I'll never bully you again about your height if you win. Jesus, there's so much on the line for Red Flame Joe tonight. No pressure. Pizza or burger though? Oh, it depends on the mood really. Like I could go for either, but I think I don't know. Can't. I do like a nice juicy burger, but it's got to be like no McDonald's burger can beat any pizza. Like if it's a good gourmet burger, then I'll take the burger. But it's got to be a good gourmet burger. But pizza, I think, just always wins over the majority of burgers.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Like you say, it depends on the type of pizza or burger, but there's so much you can do with pizza, and burgers are kind of a one-trick pony. Yeah, I'd also go with pizza just for the sheer variety. As Womax comes across the line for his first lap of the session. What's it going to be for the Bulgarian? It's not too bad. It's P15 at 22.4. There's plenty of other people on laps right now, though. The next wave of laps definitely coming in. Look how many people are on out laps on the left-hand side.
Jacko. Who is
out. Jacko. Yeah, he retired in the pits, so I'm not sure what happened to him. But Rashka currently on a lap as well. I don't think he's deploying. No, he's not. So 2 out laps for him. Aces versus Kings on a lap. What about Tier? He's in the final sector nearly. Scott just behind him. B17's going slow. So we're right on board with Scott because Tier just invalidated.
He did, yes. He just went a little bit too wide over the exit of... I don't know the corner number, to be honest, so I'm not even going to try, but in Sector 3 at the very least. Scott, though, has managed to keep it within the white lines all the way down towards the line. Where is this going to place the ESRL founder? P16 ahead of Tier, who is retired in the pit lane as well. Let's see who else is going. There's so many drivers out on laps. I've got to try and find... Most of them have been validated by the looks of things.
Yeah, I think so. Finley included. He's in Sector 2 right now. He's not got a lot of time left. In fact, no, Finley's going to be last place. There's no time left in the session. He's got no lap on the board. But Lifebout's also invalidated, so no improvement for the provisional pole sitter. Chris is on a lap. Luca's on a lap in the McLaren as well.
He's 10th up.
Lucas a 10th up in Sector 1. What can he do in the middle sector? Jordan Lance is invalidated.
No,
what
he's
about
invalidated.
Jax? Oh, Luca. He's going to be P3 at best. Red Flame Joe also on a lap in Sector 1. Johnny Stokes, the former championship leader, coming through the final corner. DRS open for the Ferrari driver. Can there be any improvement for Johnny Stokes across the line? Yes, P5 for the Ferrari. Great lap for him. What about ET8 Chris? He's coming through the final sector now in the Williams. Can he snatch pole position from his teammate?
We'll see as he comes through. I'm also watching Jax. He's 0.05 of a second up. Let's see ET8 Chris. He's a 10th up. This is looking good for ET8 Chris. He's going to have a little bit of a toe all the way down toward the line as well. I think this is pole position for ET8 Chris. It is a 20.1. What a fantastic lap time that is. F1 Jack's only good enough for P5. Knocks Johnny Stokes down into P6. Is there anybody else out there on a lap? Red Flame Joe's out there that has got the support of the fans in the chat. The last corner for the McLaren, he keeps it within the white lines. Can he get himself into the top 10, as that is where I'll be looking to go? Let's see. This is a decent lap
P8.
time from Joe. P8, not bad.
Very nicely done from Joe there, right at the end. Good pressure lap. Clemo and Reshko also improving. Shortmark has been disqualified for going the wrong way, so obviously he was trying to recover back onto the track and the game's just disqualified him. But that is your qualifying. It is ET8 Chris who takes pole position from Lifebout in P2. Joe says he lost 0.2 at turn 1, so it could have been even better.
Joe, were you hitting your apexes? Wait, well, I did tell you this during the last stream, as did some of your very passionate fans out there.
Well, it's Chris on provisional pole. Oh, well, not provisional pole. He is on pole by 2/10, in fact, from Lifebout. Massive lap from Chris. Luca Rapassa only good enough for P3 with Jordan Lance in 4th. Jack's 9,000th behind and Johnny Stokes a further 10th behind, but he'll be happy to be on the 3rd row. Cialda and Red Flame Joe make up row 4 with Clemo, Lost Super Spy row 5 and Reshka, Aces, Jackalacco and Womax the next 4, Scott, Tier, B17, Scaparo, the last ones to set laps. Finley did not set a lap at all, so he is in P19 and Short Marcus will start from the back due to being disqualified.
Wow, I told you it was going to be a great qualifying, and a great qualifying it was. Alex, keeping us updated, he said apparently UK McDonald's, and not only UK McDonald's, was down this morning. People couldn't get their Happy Meals or their McFlurries or their McDonald's breakfasts, which if I wanted a McDonald's breakfast would be very, very sad if that was it. Joe's saying it was an awful lap. Yeah, it happens in qualifying. You could be me at Silverstone where I was about 3/10 up on Tuesday, and then I completely lost all concentration because I shifted down one gear too many and cut too much curb at Stowe, and it threw me right off, which completely threw my lap in the bin, which was feeling quite good actually. That was the best lap I would have done throughout that whole 2 days of Silverstone that I had gone through. Everybody cheering on Joe. Never back down, never what? Never give it up. They're saying out there. Oops from Marcus. Messed up there. I missed my apex. You did miss your apexes. I knew it. I thought so. Shifting one gear too many is something I'm kind of a specialist at, says Alex as well in the chat. 15 people watching, guys. This is fantastic.
That's great. Welcome in, everyone. Make sure to like and give me a subscribe if you haven't already as well. We're getting close to 200 subscribers, which is crazy. So would appreciate the support and help to get there. As we wait for the race to begin, we've got Luca Rapassa, the championship leader, looking to extend his lead, but who knows what could happen. Thank you for the support, everyone in the chat, as we get started for the formation lap, as Chris leads us off. I can't remember the last time I've seen Chris get pole position anywhere, to be honest, so he'll be very happy with that.
Yeah, a little bit of vindication for him, I think, after the season he's had in APPF1. I really like that word at the moment, vindication. It's such a great word. Last 2 hours. There we go. If you like all of this racing content, you Red Flame Joe fans out there, and you want to see more Red Flame Joe out there, there's obviously Ghost's channel. Head over to my channel as well, why not? You'll see some more Red Flame Joe if you missed his Tier 1 race, where, yes, he did crash, but he's in there, he's featured. Head over there as well, give me a subscribe. Sort of stumbling behind you there, Ghost, for some reason, but you know, we move on.
Yeah, that's his channel's Sumo, that's SUMO, and then Gilligan, GILLIGON. If you're looking for that one, give him a nice subscribe as well. He would appreciate it very much. Louis in the chat as well, welcome
25 now.
25 viewers.
Has he got his whole year group to just jump in?
He might have done, yeah. He's just got his entire class.
He's gone around school today and he's been like, boys, I'm gonna be racing today. I'm gonna be out there, come and watch. And they've all tuned in because they've got nothing better to do because they're all teenagers with, you know, very little to keep them entertained, and they're all here going along. I'm envious, Ghost. I wish I had that much free time.
I mean, you know, the support's always welcome in the chat for drivers and commentators alike. But ET8 Chris coming around the final corner, we're about to get started for the Qatar Grand Prix, the penultimate round of this season of ESRL. Luca Rapassa speeding straight past both Williams. A bit of a statement there from Luca Rapassa, I think. Just trying to get in their heads a bit, which is typical esport driver behaviour, I must say. But to the line they come, and we're about to get ready to go.
Oh, who am I going to ride on board with today? Let's see. Let's ride on board. I'm going to ride on board with the Mercedes of Jordan Lancer there. Keep an eye on him.
So here we go. We wait for the lights to come on. Here in Qatar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're underway for the Qatar Grand Prix. It's a fantastic start from Lifebout from P2 and Luca from P3 as well. But Chris gets a better second phase and goes through into turn 1 in the lead of the race. Lifebout keeping P2. Jordan Lancer on the inside of Luca as they all file through turn 1. It's going to be the outside for turn 2. Can he hold it all the way around? They're all on hards in this front group. But Jordan Lancer's done it. He's up to P3. Luca down to P4. Jax is up there in P5 as well. Johnny Stokes has stayed in P6, but he's on the medium tyres. But there's not too much difference between the two tyres at this track. It's pretty even throughout, but it's Chris and Lifebout who hold their 1-2. Lost Super Spy and Cialda side by side. There's a lot of wheel banging and contact further back. 3 wide, down towards turn 7, and it's just about getting through. Ex Finley already up to P12 from the back of the grid. What a start for him.
Wow, how have all these drivers kept it on track and as clean as possible? I'd be surprised if nobody comes into pit for some damage there or something. Red Flame Joe got in a bit of an argy-bargy as well. I was watching that one, but he holds on to P9 nonetheless as they go through. But I was riding on board with Jordan Lancer then, and he got up the inside of Luca. They had a fairly even start, but Jordan just got the better second phase of the two, and then Luca had nowhere really to go as the two Williams were sort of cutting away at his path. But here comes Luca now. He's going to go down the inside of Jordan Lancer this time. It's not going to be P3 held for long, or is it? Is the Mercedes going to try and cut underneath this McLaren? He'll definitely give it a good go, but the McLaren, fairly savvy to it, stays ahead of Jordan Lancer's Mercedes, and it's going to go chasing after these Williams.
Yeah, just not enough grip there for Lancer to get that switchback done on the exit. These hard tyres, difficult to really do that sort of move with, and Luca is looking very feisty behind these two Williams, looking for a move on the inside, the outside, but not quite going for it as of yet. Plenty of time to go in this race, of course, and it's Chris who leads from Lifebout, then Luca, Jordan, Jax and Johnny Stokes are the top 6. Cialda is a little way behind them, about 8 tenths, but the DRS will be enabled at the end of the next lap, so Cialda's got a big job to do to stay with this top 6.
Yeah, and he'll have to try and make the use of these tyres while he's got them, but like you say, they're so very equal around this circuit, so it's got to be hard. I mean, I'll hope that everybody's put the right amount of fuel in the car. The first and only time so far I've raced as Aces has gone off the circuit and lost a couple of places, just about rejoined safely ahead of Tyr, who is going to be all over the back of him, I'm sure. There's maybe some contact between Bumax and Jack Alako there, are going side by side, but I ran out of fuel the last time I raced here, and yeah, you got to watch out for that, because it is something that has plagued this track ever since the game was released.
I expect most of these guys will know about that issue, and they'll have loaded up their car with fuel. You've got to do +3 laps really to be safe. So I'm sure these guys know about that, especially the ones at the front. Maybe the ones at the back, we'll see a few of them run out of fuel towards the end, but I don't think we'll have that issue for the front. Alex G is asking for a medium hard medium strategy, pushing all the time, and our thoughts on it. It is not as fast. It's the 2 stops only viable when you have the sprint, because the game glitches on this circuit and only this circuit when you have a sprint race, and massively increases all of the tyre wear for the main race. So that's when a 2-stop is viable, but at a normal race, it's got to be a 1-stop.
Yeah, I think I mean, with the nature of the circuit itself, it's very high speed. I mean, the undercut is doable. It's another long pit lane here, deceptively long at that. You come in just before that final corner, and then you're released as into the braking zone of turn 1, and there's Red Flame Joe. The fans cheer and rejoice as he gains 2 places ahead of Cialda and Lost Super Spy up into P7. He's going for that win. He wants these mates to stop bullying him about his height at school.
Well, what a move from Red Flame Joe up to P7, but 1.1 seconds to Johnny Stokes, so he's got a big job to do to get back into that DRS of the top 6, but he might be able to do it if Johnny Stokes makes any sort of error. In fact, he's already doing it. 1.0 seconds back into 9/10, and Red Flame Joe might be able to keep that P7 if he can stay within that 1 second range. Someone went very wide up ahead, and ET8 Chris under pressure from Luca Rapassa after Lifebout took the lead at the start of this lap.
Yeah, you know, I think thinking about the strategy, Ghost, I think the hards are the way to go on this. Get out off of those sluggish hard tyres when the car's heavy. Just get it done and over and done with then. And then once the car's nice and light and once you pit onto the mediums, you've got a lot more room to push and a lot more room to really enjoy the circuit. And I think those on the hards might struggle when they get onto them in the second stint. That being Johnny Stokes, Cialda, Reshka, Aces and B17.
Here comes Luca Rapassa on Chris for P2. He's looking for the move, but Chris has got too much pace. He looks to the outside. The two Williams working together to keep Luca behind. Great stuff from them, and Luca has to settle for P3, and he's got 2 of the greatest league racing teammates I've seen in my time to fight against. So he's going to have a very difficult time of it, and he's got Jordan Lancer to worry about as well.
Oh, Scott's round at turn 1 at the exit of turn 1. He's gone round. He's kept it going. Has he got damage on that Haas? No, he doesn't. But yeah, as you say, it goes. Lifebout, ETA, Chris, I've seen them perform miracles out on a racetrack. They dominated the season 10 of... No, was it season 10? Yes, it was season 10 of APPF1 Tier 1. When they drove for Mercedes, they worked together tremendously and had a good grip on that championship all season long. So really put to his paces here in this race, but against these 2 Williams drivers, he might feel a little bit aggrieved, but it's a racetrack, mate. They're teammates. They're going to work together. It's your job to get past them.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. A little mention for Finley, by the way. He started this race in 19th place, and he's up to P9 already. Here comes Luca, though, on the inside. He's going for it again on ET8 Chris. They're going to go side by side down towards turn 1. Lifebout defends to the inside to try and block out Luca. There's nearly contact as they turn into turn 1. Just about avoiding contact, and Chris files all the way through. Amazing teamwork between the 2 Williams, as we've seen so many times in APPF1. Fantastic to see these 2 working together to keep this McLaren behind, and Luca must be getting frustrated now and could be perhaps capable of a mistake, and there is one on the exit of turn 6, just about staying ahead of Jordan Lancer, but it was very, very close. I think Luca definitely has a desperate move in him, so we'll see if he goes for something silly at any point while being frustrated behind these 2 Williams. It looks like there was big contact further back, as a lot of people have lost a lot of positions and time.
Yeah, I think Clemo was the big loser there. Something happened. I didn't quite catch it. Although, let me have a look. Aces and Jacko are going wheel to wheel. As Jacko gets the 3-second time penalty, I'm sure there'll be plenty more where that came from for all of the drivers out there, really. But yeah, I can already see the stewards room slash the race chat after this. Luca perhaps might be venting his frustration after the race that these 2 Williams have been getting in his way. But as I said, got to get past them, mate.
Absolutely. Johnny Stokes, though, has that 3-second time penalty now.
Cialda again. He spun at the final corner.
Oh, Cialda. He's had so much bad luck this season, and it continues. He's got no front left end plate, and he's going to be into the pits for a new front wing. Disaster for Cialda as the top 9 drivers continue in this long train for P1. It's great to see as huge moment for Luca Rapassa on the exit there again at the same corner. He's really struggling on the exit there, but just about keeps hold of it, and someone's around again. I can't quite see who that was, but Huge train here, and Jack's going very, very deep. Johnny Stokes with that 3-second time penalty, but there's going to be plenty of track limits penalties today on this racetrack. You see it all the time. The track limits Grand Prix, some people like to call this one. Short Marcus has gone on to the intermediate tyres, by the way. He sees a rainstorm coming in Qatar, which, you know, all power to him. Good luck.
I mean, it can happen. You know, the desert does have rain, as some people might typically forget. I have seen rain at Saudi Arabia. I did do a career mode race, and it was raining for one of the practice sessions, so it can happen. Red Flame Joe's in this fight for the lead, Ghost, in this big 7-train car, as Finley is going to go for a move on his teammate in the fellow Red Bull, and it's a fairly simple one, although I think Lost Super Spy is going to try and go underneath him. Didn't quite work on that occasion. Alex in the chat has asked, as commentators, what features, if any, would you like in F124 to include to assist you in streaming / commentary? Example, add graphics with a tyre wear instead of number 1 laps, ERS gain. You know what, I think there's a lot available to us to see what's going on. The one thing I would absolutely love is more camera control. That is my biggest thing as a commentator on this F1 game. Is the camera control leaves a lot to the imagination.
Yeah, 100%. Dynamic view only gets you so far in this game. Cialda has retired in the pit lane, by the way.
Replays.
Yes, replays as well. That would be amazing. But yeah, he's out of this race as Cialda. It's another unfortunate Grand Prix for him. But he's at least going to be able to watch the rest of the race from the sidelines. But Lifebout coming through the final corner, still leading this Grand Prix from Chris, and then Luca Rapassa right behind. We've got Jordan Lancer there as well, waiting for an opening. Let's have a quick look at ERS. Jordan Lancer not got a lot, about 30%. Luca about 45, maybe 50. But Chris and Lifebout sitting on nearly 100%. They are flying in those two Williams. Jack's about 60, 70% as well. Johnny Stokes running low, as we've seen him before. But as we know, this man is very capable of taking results out of nothing, so do not count him out at any point.
Well, there are two very distinct groups going on here, two very distinct battles. You've got the battle for the lead, and then the battle for the final point on offer, which currently sees Aces ahead of Jacko, and Jacko might be losing a place to Reshka. He is losing a place to Reshka down the inside. He's going to lose another place, maybe. No, Jacko's coming back at Reshka now, and Clemo's going to get involved too. Is Clemo going to take the place away from the Scotsman of Jackalacco through here? There's a yellow flag. I think Jacko or B17 has gone off. There's a big fight going on for this final point, and the lead consists of the top 9.
Yeah, it certainly is. Of course, a safety car would completely wreck this dynamic, bring everyone close together again. But yeah, one group for the final point, one group for the lead. It was Tia who went round, by the way, and caused that yellow flag a few moments ago. It's Lifebout down towards turn 1, still leading this Grand Prix. Luca Rapassa under pressure from Jordan Lancer as they head down towards turn 1, but he's not going to make a move in that Mercedes. He's going to stick behind and wait for a better opportunity on the ex-driver in the McLaren. Through they go. Luca again losing the rear a bit, but so did Lancer out of turn 2. And those hards, I think, beginning to get a little bit slippery to drive on.
Yes, I think so as well. You've got to be careful with the throttle there as you go through. Aces and Reshka all swapping places. Jacko fighting with Clemo now as well, as they're weaving their way through sector number 1. But these gaps are huge as they go through. Red Flame Joe, things were to finish as they were. It's a P5 for him. So keep an eye on Red Flame Joe. He's been doing very, very well with no assists out there on the track. And he's in a great position. He's chasing after Johnny Stokes. And I think when the tyres start going, when it's time for that pit window to open, the strategic elements of this race will start to unfold, and we might be seeing some undercuts, some overcuts, and a bit of a shuffling in this pack.
Yeah, for sure. None of them look any close to running out of fuel, Alex. We'll have to check again later in the Grand Prix. But Jordan Lancer, I I think, running on the least fuel out of them. Actually, maybe F1 Jack's the least fuel. He's on plus 1.75 at the moment. Yellow flags again. I think that's Scott round once again in the Haas, unfortunately. But it's still the two Williams in the front, with Luca Rapassa and Jordan following them along. Jack's now with a penalty, as well as Johnny Stokes. And then Red Flame Joe, the stream favourite for today, still sitting in P7, just biding his time, waiting for an opportunity. There's movement again for that P10 position. It's Reshka ahead of Aces, up to 10th place in the DRS zone. And it's a great little scrap for the final point.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And Clemo, actually, in this fight for the final point. Clemo and Reshka, actually, the big winners there, because they've got no time penalties yet. So they will gain where the other drivers will lose in this fight for that final point. Red Flame Joe fans rejoice, because I am keeping an eye, because I'm not the main cameraman here. I can keep my eye on Red Flame Joe and his progress as he goes through. I've also been keeping an eye on the ERS situation as Scott retires in the pit lane. That is a shame for him. He'll come and join us in the chat, I'm sure. But Lifebout 100% pretty much. ETA Chris is on about 90 to 93, and then F1 Jax on about 90% ERS. Everybody else is somewhere beneath that.
Yeah, the train continues. Yeah, Alex pointing out in the chat, Red Flame is indeed a net P5 at the moment. The two drivers ahead of him with 3-second penalties, but because it's so easy to pick up track limits warnings around this circuit, you can't take anything for granted at this point. We're only under halfway through. Jordan Lancer, just to prove a point, gets a 3-second time penalty through that corner, which promotes Red Flame Joe up to a net P4 at the moment. And do not be surprised to see any of the front three get a penalty as well at some point. We're nowhere near finished with this race. Plenty of things to happen, and Scott's in the chat saying this track is not for him.
No, it does require you to be like completely dialed in. You've really got to be just completely focused on a big flow. There, the Joe fans are going nuts in the chat right about now. As Joe gains another place on paper, let's say. And you know what, guys? I just thought of another feature I'd like as a commentator. I'd like a quick button for the menus. I hate bringing up the spectator menu because it just puts too much on the screen. I'd like some quick buttons. Put it on the D-pad.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
That'd be nice. Just some, like, you know, you've got camera. Well, you keep your camera ones there, but just like telemetry, like putting on the tyres or penalties or the gaps. Put them on the D-pad. That would be cool.
Yeah, I got to agree with that one. That would be
None
a cool
of these
feature.
things will happen. Mind you,
of course,
because they don't care about the spectators. You'd think they would, but given, you know, one can dream.
Well, Johnny Stokes is slowly losing the DRS range of the top 5 in the meantime. Those mediums starting to wear away on that Ferrari, and Red Flame Joe is ready to pounce if that Ferrari ever does drop out of the DRS range. We've got yellow flags again. That's Scapper around in sector 3. He's in danger of being lapped pretty soon, and Luca Rapassa practically pushing Chris through the final sector at the moment. The McLaren right behind him, right in his gearbox even. Jax gets another 3-second time penalty. That's him up to 6 in total for now, as Lifebout fakes coming into the pits and stays out in the end. Luca Rapassa does not fall for it, and in fact he has a great run out the final corner. Here he comes. He's got DRS, but he doesn't send it with the ERS. He's got the slipstream. Is he going to pull to the inside down towards turn 1? He does. Is he going to send it on the Williams? No, he doesn't. He waits for a better opportunity and stays in P3.
I mean, again, those Williams working together so well. Like, Lifebout just pulled out along to the inside. Didn't need to do it, but if Luca had gone for that move down the inside, then he would have been boxed in, and then it would have been an easy defence for ETA Chris, and it could have invited Jordan Lancer to get a move done as he almost goes into the back of that McLaren.
Yeah, he certainly did. Rashka into the pits already for the hard tyres, hoping to get that undercut in. I'm surprised none of the top 5 came in, actually. Even Johnny Stokes, I'm surprised he didn't come in either, but I suppose he's happy with being in the DRS train at the moment. I think he's just waiting for one of the others in front of him to pit before he comes in. But yeah, Lifebout's still leading, and Luca Rapassa still frustrated.
If I was Johnny Stokes or Red Flame Joe, Finley or Lost, I'd come in now.
Yes. Well, who else is going to come in? Jax goes extremely deep at that left-hander there before the final corner, but Johnny Stokes into the pits, but he gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and Red Flame Joe overtakes him in the pit lane. What a move from Joe. Finley trying to do the same thing. Johnny Stokes has been absolutely mugged there in the pits.
Again, I don't agree with overtaking like that in the pit lane. I think it's completely dangerous, but for some reason you're allowed to do it. That was definitely an unsafe release.
Ace is out. It's a safety car.
Oh.
Aces is out of the race. We have a safety car, and these guys that have just pitted have been absolutely screwed here. Aces versus Kings crashes out in the final sector, and these guys are surely going to lose positions as the others are all going to get a free pit stop.
Well, you say that. The others, well, the fight for P10, they were so far back that they haven't actually lost out too much.
Well,
At
no,
least
but
Red Flame Joe hasn't.
They may lose out to the front runners though, Sumo, because their pit stop for those who have already come in was under green flags, whereas these guys have it under a delta, so they should all be able to come out ahead, which means Red Flame Joe will be demoted to P8, and Finley, Johnny Stokes as well. I think Johnny Stokes by far the biggest loser here. He's going to go from P6 down to P10 just on the pit stops.
Another big loser is going to be ET8 Chris. This is the third time in a row that I have seen. Oh my God, they're overtaking in the pit lane under safety car. That's not allowed.
Jordan Lance with a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Jax under the safety car. There was another notification for a penalty as well. It was Jax who also got a penalty, so he's up to 11 seconds. Luca Rapassa doesn't get one, but that was very early to be overtaking now, I have to say. Yeah, I think it's legal, but...
It's yellow flags, it can't be legal.
Well, they're in the pit lane, though.
That needs to be cleared up. I really don't think you should be overtaking in the pit lane unless it's due to an error in the pit stop. It's so dangerous.
Well, that's what's happened, and I'm pretty sure it's legal. But we'll see.
I'm going to be watching for that in the Tier 2 race. Nobody is passing me in the pit lane. If they do, they're going to lose their wing.
Red Flame Joe back up to P6 now after the pit stops, but ET8 Chris, the big loser, as well as Johnny Stokes, who's coming to the pits again. He must have taken damage when he came in, Sumo, and he's going to go down all the way to P13. It's an absolute disaster for Johnny Stokes, and it's awful luck for him here right at the end of the season as well, when he needs all the luck he can get.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't agree with it. I think it kind of defeats the point, right? Or especially under safety car conditions. Like it's weird. Like I don't think you should be able to overtake on the pit entry. It's just, I don't know. It's if they crash, right, then they're blocking the pit lane and nobody can come in. Like at all. If they did it on like a pit exit, then the safety car can't come out. It's such a weird grey area that really should have been sorted out. I think. I don't know. I really don't agree with it. I think it's dangerous, especially when that's where all of the team members are. They're in the pit lane, not in like the entry or exit. But I just don't agree with it personally. It's not something that I think should be allowed.
Well, Scott says it is definitely allowed, so there won't be any penalties coming anyone's way. Well, apart from Jax and Lancer, of course, they have those 5-second penalties. Jax is in to serve said 5-second penalty.
Scaparo.
Oh, that was Scaparo, sorry. Yeah, wrong Alfa Romeo.
He's going to get lapped now. Well, he's already lapped, but he's going to get super lapped. Everyone's going to lap him.
Well, it's the right thing to do. Just getting out of the way of everyone else, because obviously the game doesn't let you unlap yourself under a safety car. So that's another thing I'd like to see added in the F1 games, lap cars being able to unlap themselves.
Oh, but please.
I don't think that's going to happen either. Lancer says he should get his pens removed as well in the chat. So he says, what was he doing as well? So there could be some controversy coming up in the way that people overtook under the safety car in the pit lane there. It's legal if you do it cleanly, but it didn't look particularly clean, I'm not going to lie.
I just think it's really... I don't know, I just think it's unsafe. Like, I don't think you should be able to do it at all. I bang on about it and say it again, but it's the pit lane. Like, it's, you know, it's tighter than Monaco at times. I mean, most pit lanes you can't really overtake in there, but like China you can do it because there's enough room in there. And like, as well, the pit lane is like very much dictated by that narrow sort of line, isn't it? So you're kind of going over the line, aren't you, a bit, with the two lines? So I don't know why you're allowed to go. You're allowed to do that. It just seems, like an unnecessary thing. And just you wait, right? So one day somebody's going to try and overtake in the pit lane. It's going to go horribly wrong, and then the FIA are going to say, right, let's ban that right now. Because I can see it. I can see it happening.
Yeah, I could see it.
All it takes
too.
is one big incident, and that is it. Like, look at sausage curbs, for example. That massive crash in Formula 3 back in Monza a few years ago. Sausage curbs were gone immediately.
The FIA are very reactionary when it comes to safety rather than preventative. Which you know, at least they do react, but it is a bit of a problem. But Lifebout coming around the final corner, still going slow. He's going to leave this late for the restart here. Luca Rapassa trying to get the edge on him. Lifebout still not going. Luca just waiting for it, and there he goes. Lifebout down towards turn one. Luca hasn't been caught out, but he's also not able to pull alongside. But ET8 Chris is. Look at this from the Williams driver, looking for two places in one corner. What a move from the Bulgarian. Can he get it done on Jax on the outside of turn two? Yes, he can. ET8 Chris up to P3 already. What a move from him.
Round of applause for ET8 Chris. What a brave move from that Williams. He is not going to leave his teammate high and dry there. Red Flame Joe, meanwhile, is in P6 and he's looking to go further. He tried to go up the inside of Jordan Lancer there, but he's a net P4 right now. He's got himself back into this and he could be in a shout for a podium if anything goes wrong up ahead.
Yeah, he certainly could. Biggest loser, Johnny Stokes. He's down in P13 after this safety car period. He's got a lot of work to do. He's going to need a lot of luck as well. But it's Lifebout who leads from Luca Rapassa. ET8 Chris struggling to stay with them at the moment, though, on these medium tyres. 9.5 tenths is the gap, and it's only growing. So we could have a two-horse race here towards the last stint of this Grand Prix. Womack gets himself another penalty, and Chris already out of that 1 second range. He's going to need Lifebout to slow Luca down here.
Yeah, he's going to need some 2016 Abu Dhabi driving, I think, for that one, to just bring everybody back in. But if he does that, Luca might sense it, and he's trying to go around the outside of Lifebout. Lifebout doesn't let him. He brakes later than the McLaren and sees him off for the time being. But it is going to be a straight fight. It is going to be a repeat of Belgium. These two have got a bit of a score to settle between each other. A chip on the shoulder perhaps for Luca as he's chasing down Lifebout for this win. Although Chris is trying to eke his way back in, so this might not be over yet. We've got 10.5 laps or so to go, so there's still plenty of time.
I think Lifebout is playing the Sergio Perez here. He's going slower through the corners than he could, and bringing Chris back into the battle, and bringing the whole train back into it. In fact, it's a train all the way down to P16. Everyone's in it at the moment, and keep an eye on short Marcus, by the way, on the soft tyres. He's up to P10 after his excursion on the Inters earlier in the race. He was in last place, and now he's into the points. But of course, those soft tyres are not going to last for very long on this circuit, as Jordan Lancer, another penalty for the Mercedes driver, and he is going to drop quite a few places come the end of this one.
Yeah, it's a very heavy load circuit, this one, which increases the deg ever more. So those soft tyres will be chewed up and spat out by this Losail circuit very, very soon. The one fly in the ointment for Red Flame Joe is Finley as he goes down the inside. He does have a time penalty though, does the Red Bull driver, but he doesn't care. He's got himself into P6, and Red Flame now demoted down to P7 still though, and net P4.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. He just needs to stay between the white lines, and he'll have himself a very strong finish in that McLaren. As, he does have Clemo to worry about though, just behind him. The Mercedes also on no penalties. Lost Super Spy has one. Short Marcus should tail off towards the end of the stint, but despite losing that place.
Yeah, he's still in a very good place. All he's got to do is keep it within the white lines. I'll take a look at the race director actually, since I have that ability to do so without interrupting the stream. Where is...
Oh, Jordan Lancer practically pushing Jax through the final sector as Sumo looks for the race director screen. As Jax with another time penalty as well. These two have got a ton of time penalties from the game in this Grand Prix, and will it ever end as Lancer nearly takes them both into the wall there. Went to the inside of the final corner, very, very risky move, but somehow no contact in there. Catching Chris very quickly. Womax is out, but he's in the pit lane. Lifebout and Luca Rapace meanwhile side by side, and in fact Lifebout's lagged behind Luca, and Luca now leads the Grand Prix.
Wow, the game has intervened. I've just had a look, Ghost. Luca is a very, very lucky man, because he's apparently got 2 warnings on lap 1 and then another one. So he should have a penalty, but the game hasn't given it to him.
One of them is going to be for a collision, at least one of them.
For sure.
So that'll explain it.
Lifebout's got 2 warnings, Red Flame with 1 warning, track limits.
He's looking good then, is Red Flame Joe, which will make the chat very happy indeed. Jax and Jordan Lancer, though, a long, long way behind on the penalties front. Finley, as well, has got a penalty to his name. Short Marcus and Jacko both get one at the same time further back. But, yeah, Luca Rapace leading this Grand Prix due to a bit of lag there.
Yeah, Lifebout might be a bit miffed at that one. And Luca now got the free air, got the clean air, the ability to go. But the 2 Williams might be going. That was deep from Jax. Jordan Lancer, Jax, side by side. Is he gone deep again? Perhaps no. Jordan Lancer wasn't able to capitalise there. But it could be 3 wide as they head down towards turn number 1. Finley has got the jump on the Mercedes. And could he get the jump on the Alfa Romeo? No, he can't. These 3 are going to keep squabbling. And Red Flame Joe's got to just sit there, rubbing his hands together and saying, do all this all you want. This P4's mine.
Johnny Stokes makes up a place on Reshko in the meantime. He's up to P11. He's still got a lot of work to do. He's 3 seconds or so behind the points finishing positions. But if anyone can do it, if anyone can secure a result from nowhere, it's this man. He's done it all season long, and do not count him out just yet. But Luca Rapace is leading this Grand Prix. And that's exactly where Johnny Stokes does not want him to be.
Yeah, the top 10 all fighting over the top 10 positions, which are the points-paying positions, which is very cool to see. And I maintain my stance of the virtual Formula 1 better than real life.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, it's not hard this season, to be honest, or last season. But Lifebout coming through towards the final corner. The fastest lap, by the way, Sumo, belongs to Luca Rapassa by 0.02 of a second from Lifebout. So if it ends like this, with Luca winning and getting the fastest lap, he will win the ESRL Championship for this season. Johnny Stokes, of course, will still be the People's Champion, but in terms of actual points, Luca Rapassa will win as it stands.
Yeah, the rightful champion, really, until Luca decided to rock up and just trounce everybody, because, I don't know, he's an alien and has got an unimaginable amount of time as Jax loses it. Possibly, it could have been lag, although Jordan Lance has spotted a gap perhaps, but how much of a gap it was, I'm not sure, because they touched wheels as they went through. And the Red Flame Joe fans are loving it out there, as Joe is sat in a lovely little position and Finley is having a lot of slides.
Yeah, he certainly is, and Joe will be hoping actually that all this battling doesn't bring them too far back from the front runners, because if any of them get a penalty, then he's in a great position to take advantage at the moment. Finley's got no ERS as well. Joe's still got 50%, so there's a big opportunity for Joe here to make up a place on this Red Bull in the DRS straight. And yeah, he's using a bit of overtake there out the penultimate corner. He needs a good exit out of this final corner. Does the fan favourite. Out he comes down towards turn one. It's contagious, says Scott, and says, come on, Joe. Here he comes down the inside of the Red Bull for P6 on track. Red Flame Joe breaks late, gets the move done, surely. Finley tries to hang it around the outside, but he just doesn't have the grip. And it's Red Flame Joe up to 6th place.
Yeah, he's working, he's cooking. As they say, I see you, Lee Splat. You messed up. You missed that O there, and Joe. I saw. I've got time to look at the chat. Don't worry. It is very contagious, though. Come on, Joe. Make up those places. I'd love to see him on the podium. That would be fantastic.
It really would. I hope one of the front three gets a penalty. Oh, as Finley nearly bins it into the wall. That was very, very close. But we've got yellow flags. I don't know who that was round. It's an AlphaTauri. B17 is round in Sector 1. But yeah, Red Flame Joe still within that 1 second range of Lancer, which is where he needs to be.
Didn't let him send it, says Lee. Oh dear.
Womp womp.
Womp womp indeed. So in the chat. Oh my word. Red Flame Joe is going to be closing in on Jordan Lancer. He's been looking racy ever since that safety. He wants to get himself back into P4. It won't be his though with the time penalties. We'll take a look at the time penalties quickly. Jax 14 seconds, 11 seconds for Jordan Lancer, 6 for Finley, 3 for Marcus.
Lifebout closing in, sorry to interrupt you, Sumo, down the inside for turn 1 for the lead of the Grand Prix, and he's done it. Lifebout into P1 and simultaneously saving Johnny Stokes' championship hopes as long as he stays ahead of that McLaren.
88 Chris might want a slice of the pie here as well. They're definitely going to work together to make sure that McLaren is dealt with, let's say. And where was I? Reshka 3, Johnny Stokes 3, 6 for Jacko, 18 for Tyr and Scaparo, and 6 for B17.
Yeah, it's a lot of penalties on the board, but as you would expect on this circuit, Red Flame Joe, 7.5 tenths between him and Jordan Lance. He's just got to stay within that 1 second range. As soon as he loses DRS, he is going to lose a lot of time very quickly as he comes through Sector 2 now, but still just about within range at the moment. Jordan Lancer, though, right on the back of F1 Jax and looking for the move up to P4, but of course on penalties they will both drop a very long way. B17 into the pits in the meantime from the back of the grid as Luca Rapassa still right behind Lifebout, and I think we might get another change for the lead here as we head on to lap 26 of 29. 4 laps to go.
Yeah, here we go then. Red Flame Joe still only has 1 warning for track limits, so it's still looking very, very good for him. The fans may rejoice yet. Let's see, is Luca going to go for it? No, he gets very close, so he's got to be cautious of ET8 Chris as well. He knows what these Williams are going to do to him if they allow it, and Jordan Lance is looking for a move. Whoa. They touch as they go through turn number 2, I think that is, as they go through 3 now, and Red Flame Joe will draw ever closer to them. He'll hope they'll just hit one another, spin out, and then he'll just goes straight through as Jax again almost loses it. So much oversteer on that Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, Joe was briefly out of DRS range actually on this lap, but after mistakes from both Lancer and Jax, he's back in that range again, and comfortably so. 6.5 tenths between him and the two ahead, as Clemo gets another penalty in the Mercedes further back. Scapro retires in the pit lane, and it's too late for a safety car now anyway, I think. Well, not yet, but it will be at the end of this lap, as this train for P1 continues. It's all the way down to P9 as Johnny Stokes, by the way, is back down to P12. It looks like he's going to score no points today. So Lifebout, he's relying on those two Williams to stop Luca from winning this race and taking the title today.
Well, if it wasn't Red Flame Joe fans cheering, it's now James and AD. And now Theo all singing Call Me Maybe in the chat.
Luca Rapassa refusing to overtake Lifebout. He wants to save it for the final lap, but all it's doing is helping Chris get back into this. We've got the retired car of Scapro there just getting off the circuit. That could have been very distracting for our drivers out there, but luckily getting out the way in time as Chris loses a bit of time through that right-hander. Jax loses the rear on the exit, but Chris just about staying with Luca Rapassa. That's what he needs to do. Williams will be very keen to secure a 1-2 finish here. I don't know how much they even know about the championship standings in ESRL. They're just going to want to finish this race 1 and 2 and prove that whenever they're here, they can battle it out with the best of ESRL.
Yeah, now it looks like it's Lose Yourself has been started out in the chat as well.
Oh my gosh.
It's all kicking off in the chat. It's kicking off in this race. There is now 9 cars in this battle for the lead, and the battle for the final point has resumed. And there's
Jax with another
4
penalty.
drivers with no time penalties so far.
Another time penalty for Jax in the meantime in stark contrast as Luca, again, here he comes to the inside. He again doesn't want to overtake, but he has to because Chris is coming down the inside. Luca's just focused on Lifebout. He's completely forgotten about Chris, who's gone down the inside of both of them, but Luca has the outside for the turn 1, it's the inside for turn 2, and he retakes the lead, and Jax is round in the background. There was contact between him and Lifebout, and Jax has come off worse, but Lifebout has stayed true and stayed on the circuit. Jordan Lancer still up there in P4, but Jax all the way to the back, but he was going to drop to the back anyway with his penalties.
One dip of a wheel over the line will give one of the top 3 a penalty in this. It's still not over for that spot there, as Finley's got back past Red Flame Joe in the meantime, but it won't matter as long as he finishes without any time penalties to McLaren. He will get P4 in this race, which I think will be equivalent to a win for him, considering the top 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Red Flame Joe putting on a brilliant performance today, but these top 3 still battling it out. But Chris has lost so much time on this lap. Lance with another penalty for track limits, but Chris is going to really struggle here. He's going to have to use all his ERS, but Luca's got plenty in the tank as well. And here we go, on to the final lap. Can Luca hold on to the race win and the championship title as it stands? Here comes Chris and Lifebout with the DRS and ERS usage. They're going to go down into turn 1. Chris looking to the outside, dives to the inside into turn 1. He can't quite get the move done though. Lucas stays ahead and surely is looking to win this championship.
Lifebout be saying, get out of my way, Chris, you're slowing me down. Lifebout has looked like the quicker of the two despite qualifying, and he has let him through. Team orders taking effect here at Williams, and can Lifebout close this gap and chase Luca? We could have a grandstand finish as they come down towards the finish line in this race. This has been fantastic to watch from start to finish, and it's going to be absolutely barnstorming race that will go down in ESRL history, I'm sure.
They're giving it absolutely everything. Lifeboat using every drop of his ERS that he's got left down through the final sector. 5.5 tenths is the gap. Luca has more ERS in the tank than Lifeboat as well. He can afford to use it through these flat-out right-handers. Can Lifeboat do anything on the run to the line? He's going to have the DRS, but it doesn't usually come into effect until halfway down the straight. Here we go to the final corner. It's a big mistake from Luca, and that could have lost him the race win and the championship win as well. Through the final corner, can Lifeboat do it? He's going to use everything that he's got down towards the line. DRS for Lifeboat. Can he take the race win right at the death? No, it's Luca Rapassa who wins. With it should be the driver's title unless Johnny Stokes gains positions from Jordan's penalty. Across the line comes Johnny, and yes, it's P9 for Johnny, which means the championship goes to one more race. But Johnny Stokes is going to need a DNF for Luca and a win for himself to take the title.
0.61 was the gap. Red Flame Joe fans rejoice. It's P4 for the man in the McLaren, and if you ask me, if you take the top three out of the equation, that is a win for Red Flame Joe. What a fantastic drive for him.
Couldn't agree more. What a drive from Red Flame Joe. All the support in the chat, and wow, brilliant stuff. Lancer saying he'll have 5 seconds taken away. Lancer, I beg you, please do not get the 5 seconds taken away, because if you do, the championship will be over. Please just let it go. Just take the point. I beg you.
Wow. I don't know how that's going to do for Red Flame Joe's bank account, though. It's not a win, is it? Apparently he's to those people 200 quid there, so I'm not sure about that one. But yes, top tier, and they've both spelt tier wrong.
Oh, well. Short Marcus, by the way, said he was on 75% tyre wear. The game's given him driver of the day as well, so he's got that to take. I mean, at one point in the race, he was on intermediate tyres in last place, so to come out with points... did he come out with points? I'm not sure, actually. Yeah, he did. To come in P6 is a pretty good performance from the 2 or 3 time ESRL Sprint champion. But it is Luca Rapassa who wins the Qatar Grand Prix by 600ths of a second from Lifebout. ET8 Chris rounds out the podium for Williams. They couldn't quite beat Luca today, with Red Flame Joe finishing a very strong P4, one of only 4 drivers to not get a penalty, and they finished in the top 4. So that tells you a lot about what you need to do in this circuit. Clemo in P5, good result for him too. Short Marker, 75% tyre wear on the softs, finished 6th place. Finley in P7. Rashka gets a decent result in P8. Johnny Stokes finishes P9 and secures 2 points, which means the title race will go for 1 more week. But he's going to need an absolute ton of luck to take this title now. Jordan Lancer in P10, getting the last point with Lost Super Spy in 11th, and then Jackalacco snatching the fastest lap, by the way, at the end in P12. Tier B17, F1 Jax, the last of the finishers, and then Scaparo, Wumax, Aces, Scott, and Cialda unable to finish the race.
Wow, what a fantastic race. The Joe fans saying they'll be back on Sunday. We'll hope that we'll have a stream for you on Sunday, as you guys have been fantastic to have in the chat cheering us. This is what we need, Ghost, in the chat. We need all the fans here cheering on their favourite drivers, singing songs in the chat. It's been fantastic to watch. This has been probably the most fun stream I've had in a long time. It's great. We'll try, Lee.
Well, Sumo, I don't think driver of the day is in any doubt whatsoever, do you?
Red Flame Joe?
Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be. Well, thank you all very much for watching. It's been a great stream. And thank you all for the support as well, for both our drivers and for us in the box. Really appreciate it. Yeah, we'll be back next week for more ESRL. It will be the season finale in Brazil, as always, in ESRL. And we'll see I mean, realistically, we'll see how many points Luca wins the championship by. But, who knows what could happen. But it would need him to DNF and for Johnny Stokes to win the race for a last gasp upset in this title battle. But without further ado, I don't know if you have any more to add, Sumo?
No, but subscribe to Ghost's channel, subscribe to my channel, and if you've got time, go check out the APPF1 podcast over on Spotify as well. That's my final things. A few little shameless plugs, but there you go.
Yeah, me and Sumo on the podcast, we talk about the happenings in the APPF1 league that we run, and also about real life F1. And it's good fun if you've got a spare hour. Or hour and a quarter, hour and a half sometimes, and give it a listen.
Definitely have to get Red Flame Joe in as a guest now.
Oh yeah, we've got to. Alright, well, thank you all very much for watching. It's APPF1 podcast on Spotify. But thank you all very much. Have a lovely rest of your weekend, and we'll be back next week for the finale of ESRL. Goodbye.
Goodbye.